Hello, yes, I'm back once again. I know it has been a hot minute since my last review, but there's only one thing that could bring me back to doing these. No, it's not Star Wars, actually. I know that's coming out, that's a little bit later, though. No, of course, it is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Of course he was going to bring me back to doing a review like this. How could I not? It's The Rock. So, there is a second, but technically third, Jumanji film out now. Is this one going to be as good as the breakout hit and quite surprising first / technically second? It's very confusing, but let's get into it! So, Jumanji, The Next Level, is the sequel to Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, which in itself was a sequel to the original 90s movie Jumanji. Now, what I like about all of the Jumanji films so far is that there has been this great sense of adventure to them. The first Jumanji was kind of bringing the board game aspect to life. The great thing about Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle is that it did kind of revive the franchise a little bit. It created that same sense of wonderment of a game coming to life, but for a newer generation in the sense of it being a video game. And the great thing about Welcome to the Jungle was that it created this new set of rules for the game and how to play it and what it does. And a lot of the jokes that were involved in Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle were all kind of video game based jokes. So it kind of updated the original one and kept that sense of adventure whilst also changing the rules and creating a new sense of humor, which I enjoyed watching. The next logical step is that it creates something new within the world of the video game that we already know and gives them a reason to revisit it. Now, yes, while that is kind of present in here, there is something new to be found in Jumanji The Next Level. A lot of the humor and a lot of the interesting parts of the film comes from knowing or discovering the rules of the new situation they found themselves in. And that was the most apparent in the first one. So because you kind of know all of the rules of the world that they're in and how things function and everything like that, it kind of takes a little bit out of the film because you already know so much of it. It's almost like they kind of have to recap it only because there are new people involved in the game world that don't know what they're doing. On which point I would like to point out that while that humor was great, that's kind of been replaced with anyone who is doing or being or having to do an impression of Danny DeVito in this film is where a lot of the humor lies. I did get the feeling that a lot of this film was kind of a little bit like an improv class where every actor in the film was having a go at playing a different person, and they kind of take it in turns every so often. But like I said, anyone who is playing Danny DeVito in this film, particularly Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, was hysterical to see. And yes, there are a couple of new features in this film. There are a couple of new characters in there, and everyone's strengths and weaknesses kind of get updated. It's almost like they released a patch for the Jumanji video game that updates things and gives characters different abilities and stuff. So there is that sense of learning some new rules involved in that, and some new characters in the form of Awkwafina, who is playing Ming Fleetfoot, Ace cat burglar. So yes, there is still that discovery, and there is still a lot of humor in there, so there were a lot of parts that did make me laugh in this film. I didn't exactly expect this film to not make me laugh. I just maybe wanted the same level of enjoyment out of it as I did with the first film, and that kind of sense of discovery of it. I guess the film that I can most liken this kind of state to is perhaps Deadpool 2. There was so much of Deadpool 2 that I did enjoy, but because you already knew some of the stuff and the things that were involved and the sense of humor from the first film, it didn't have that initial same kind of impact. It was more just like a sandbox for them to go and play with. You still enjoy it, you still laugh through it, but maybe not as much as the fun that you had discovering things for the first time in the first film. Which, when you take that into consideration, the producers really did miss a trick by perhaps not calling it Jumanji: The Expansion Pack. And then you get halfway through the film and it stops, and then they charge you a little bit extra to get the DLC content. Ah, video game jokes. Please tell me I'm relevant. Am I relevant yet? Please tell me I'm relevant. So with that in mind, Jumanji: The Next Level gets a solid 3.5 stars out of me. I did really enjoy this film. There were parts of it that I was thoroughly laughing at. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, always good to see, but I also loved Jack Black in this film, playing a couple of different roles. Loved him in this film. And Kevin Hart was quite the surprise in here as well. He was really flexing some acting muscles. I definitely enjoyed watching him in this film too. So Jumanji: The Next Level, or the DLC, or the expansion pack, whatever you want to call it. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? What did you think of the addition of a couple of new characters? Do you think they're going to make a third one for this franchise? If so, what do you think might be involved? Would you still go and see it? All comments are welcome in the comment section below. Let's talk nerdy. As always, if you've enjoyed what you've seen here for the first time in a while and you want to see some more, you can click right here to subscribe and see some more funky fresh videos from yours truly. And until that point, it never gets old, Rhys Darby's introduction of "Hello, intrepid explorers! Welcome to Jumanji!"